Hey, good morning and welcome back to BUFORD PUSSER, the other story. Today is not a traditional video. We are broadcasting from Lake Windsor here in beautiful Bella Vista, Arkansas, not too far from my palatial estate that I have here. At any rate, a lot of you have been asking a number of questions. I've been out of pocket for the last couple of weeks, so I'm going to try to clear some of these things up. People are asking me about the autopsy on Pauline. The short answer to that is I don't know anything more than you know. We're waiting on Mark Davidson, the District Attorney General, to make an announcement regarding the autopsy. And he is involved in the Holly Bobo case right now. And as soon as he gets finished with some of that, I'm expecting to make an announcement soon. Another question that has been coming up a lot is the itinerary for the meet and greet that we have in Selmer. Now, there's one big change. We're going to meet at the Ag Center there at the fairgrounds in Selmer this year. That way we'll have access to restrooms and such as that, a little bit of a covered area when we meet. We'll leave from there. And of course, we'll go down Highway 64. The first stop we're going to make is going to be at the crash site where Buford lost his life. We'll tell all about that. Then we'll move on to the museum there in Adamsville. We'll have some time to go through that. Now, I would advise everybody that while my tour is free, the museum does have an admission fee. And you can go to their website, Facebook page, and check out what the cost of that might be if you want to go through the museum. Now, the important part is when we leave there, we're going to drive down the route that Buford and Pauline took that morning. And hopefully by seeing that, you'll understand why that so many of us are skeptical about his story of how she died. Now, I would advise everybody that this is going to be kind of a long tour, so be sure and bring a lunch and something to drink because there's no facilities that can accommodate a crowd our size if we were to stop. Going on with the tour, however, we'll stop at the church there where the alleged ambush party was said to be waiting. We'll give an explanation of what all occurred there, and then we'll drive on down to the first ambush site, which is only 7/10 of a mile away. We'll make a stop there. Both places will have an opportunity to do some photos such as that. We'll move on down to the second ambush site, and again, we'll stop, take time for photos, and you'll hear an explanation of what all occurred there. Which brings up another thing. A lot of people have been asking if Dennis Hathcock is going to be there this year. Yes, he will be. So there is that. Now, when we leave the second ambush site, we'll go on down to the state line where the Plantation Club, the Shamrock, the White Iris all sat, and give a little bit of an explanation of what those places mean and the overall story. It's not what people think. And there's some good photo opportunities there. From there, we'll get back on 45. We'll head north. Now, we won't be able to stop where Sheriff Dickey was killed. There's no parking area through there. But we will have an FM transmitter in the main vehicle. And you'll be able to tune your radio to a certain frequency, and you'll hear us giving a little bit of a broadcast about, for instance, where James Dickey was killed. There's also Hollis Jordan's that is almost in the same spot. Now, that's where the Buford and Pauline were supposed to be going that morning. And hopefully you'll wonder why they took the route they did when you see it. From that point, we'll head on into Selmer, and you'll see where Buford and Pauline were found that morning after the ambush. You'll also see the location where the gun exchange occurred. So there is that. Now, People are asking if I'll have books for this event. Yes, I will. Now, I charge $25 for the books at the meet and greet, and I can do that, the reason being that I don't have shipping cost, handling cost, Amazon fees, eBay fees, things like that. So I can do a little bit better deal on them there. We will also have some other merchandise. For instance, this stylish headgear that I'm wearing today that says, "Truth has no agenda." We'll be selling those for $20. Also, we have some pins that are rather nice. They have a metal barrel, they're silver. The little plunger on the top and the tip of the ink pens are rose gold. And they also are inscribed with "Buford Pusser, the other story." It has "Justice for Pauline" and "The Truth Has No Agenda." So we'll be selling those for $5. Now, again, Dennis Hathcock will be there to explain a lot of things. Now, I might add that I'm not allowed to sell Dennis. Miss Jackie just really objected to that. So, he's not for sale. Now, others have asked about my young bride, Miss Connie. She is like an American Express card. I don't leave home without her, so she'll be there as well. She has been my young bride for the better part of 53 years, and also she works as my administrative assistant with all this stuff. Going on from there, I've had a lot of questions about my health. Surprisingly, I am in pretty good shape now. We figured out what the problem is that has bothered me for some time, which was a blood clot that was attached to the port from my chemo event from 5 years ago. It had developed a blood clot at the end of the port, which had become entangled with the main artery that delivers blood and oxygen to your head and back to your heart eventually. So every time I was getting in a certain position, it was choking off that blood and oxygen source. So at least having that blood clot removed here a couple of weeks ago, I am doing much better. Even more people are mistaking me for Brad Pitt than they did before. Now, I hope I've explained my health crisis to you pretty well. I might add that I graduated from the University of Medicine at Adamsville. Graduated magna cum laude. I was very close to the bottom of my class. So there is that. Now, other people are asking about my video. They noticed it is starting out with a cat instead of the old-time countdown. And they're wondering what the reason for the cat with the loud roar is. Well, my YouTube channel is growing, and I noticed that a lot of production companies have something kind of unusual to start out their broadcast. For instance, MGM has Leo the lion. So I thought I would have Bob the cat. Get it? Bobcat. But it's a little different. All right, back to other serious matters. Be sure and make the caravan if you possibly can. We always have a good time. We see lots of interesting things. People learn a lot from what Dennis and I have to say. After the last stop that we make will be at the courthouse, and we'll get into the courtroom where we can have a question and answer session and try to clear up anything that people are wondering about. After that, we'll tour the jail upstairs where Buford kept his prisoners. A lot to see there. It kind of reminds me of the first jail I worked in, which was kind of antiquated. They were hot during the summer, cold at night. The meals were not all that great, but it'll show you what prisoners had to deal with back in those days. A lot of overcrowding.
Be sure and subscribe and hit that bell so that you'll get notifications of new videos when they're released.
going on from there, just keep in mind that we'll meet at the Ag Center at the fairgrounds in Selmer at 9 a.m. on Saturday, May the 24th. And we hope to have a large crowd. We'll have some law enforcement there to help us get out on the highway and go to the first sites in one long chain. Now, when we get there, we'll be having coffee, donuts, soft drinks. We'll have water for everyone that forgot to bring anything. So we'll be there about an hour. That gives us a chance to meet people that we have never met before. You'd be surprised. I visit with a lot of people on the phone, by email, by messenger, whatever, and I've done so for a lot of years, and it's really neat when you finally get to meet some of these people. Now, I might also mention that we're going to do a separate tour for those law enforcement officers that wish to go, and it will be on Friday. It's meant for law enforcement officers that are currently serving, retired law enforcement officers such as that. We will have basically the same tour, and the reason for a separate tour for them is law enforcement officers often speak a little bit different language than the average tourist does, and that way they can communicate with each other about what they see, what they think about how Pauline died, and other events. So if you're in law enforcement, just send me an email. My email is on my Facebook page. It's easy to find. So please send me a email or a message just telling me who you are and that you want to be in the Friday tour, so we can have an idea about how many are going to be there for that. Now, of course, if you're in law enforcement, you're welcome to go to on either tour or both. So that should be a good time. I would encourage everyone to attend the festival while you're there. I like to help the festival when I can by encouraging people to go there, using this media as a form to ask people to go. It helps support Adamsville, what goes on there. Also, even though that they tell a different story than I do, they stick with the legend, where I try to stick with the facts. Visit the museum. Go in there. There's lots of interesting things. I hope you do. At that point, I'm going to leave it with this. I'll end as I always say. Truth has no agenda. And thanks for watching.